Hello, this is the M&M&M Podcast. This is a podcast hosted by three different people from three different worlds. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mark Hackett.
What's up?
And Mark Huggins.
Hello.
Later on, we'll be talking to a longtime friend, Zach Russo. He will be joining us, thankfully. So this podcast is a little different. So let's explain what worlds we are from. Huggins, would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we all come from different places. I mean, that's really the basis of our friendship. Me personally, I come from a musical background. You know, I do like theater. I write music. I play piano. I've been doing that for a very long time. So you know, I like to write and perform as much as possible. Yeah, that's basically.
Hackett, would you like to
Elaborate on my background, of course. So I was more of a tech guy. I used to work down the shore in clubs, working with the audio crew and all that stuff. I've dabbled in music like Mark has. I never really wrote. I only used loops. But I was more tech forward, and I was always the guy to call whenever something went wrong or whatever, you know?
Me personally, I'm a big sports guy. I played varsity basketball and football this year. I played baseball when I was younger. You'll hear a lot more about that later. So basically, big sports fan. Football, basketball, baseball. Early on in my life, I wouldn't say I dabbled in making music, but I definitely love to listen to music. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Other than that, I'm a normal guy. I've recorded. I started getting into tech this year. So, speaking of tech, how I got into tech this year, this really leads into how all three of us met. Am I right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So together, at least.
Yeah, together. All three of us have met separately in different ways. I met Mark Huggins through this class, actually. I've heard of him through school. Through the grapevines, my best friend and him were friends, but I never really had a conversation with him. I used to hear the things he did in theater, but I never really met the guy until this year, and pleased to say that he is a great friend of mine now.
Yes.
I really feel like we've had a nice connection.
Pleased?
Yeah, very pleased, actually. Very pleased.
Very pleased.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. I mean, this class, it's 0 period broadcast experience. It's PVTV for all of our school friends. But basically, we'd go in the morning and do the news. I had never heard of Matt up until this year. But we opened up the first week, and we were both anchoring. So
keep in mind that I was anchoring. It was me, Mark, and a girl named Mia. Mia and Mark were both co-stars of the theater program, so they know how to read lines. And I'm this sports guy that has no idea about anything. So you can imagine how unbalanced the table was.
Yeah, I didn't join the class yet because I didn't like the teacher that much.
I forgot that he joined late.
Yo,
yeah, I joined in a couple weeks because I was just like, dude, I don't want to deal with that teacher, and she's going to be annoying during that whole morning show. And then I ended up helping out a lot more being out of the class than in the class. So she's like, can you just join? And I was like, fuck it, fine.
There was that first week where we didn't have any like news productions, so we were just setting up the whole studio. And Hackett, I remember you were there.
Hackett showed up just for fun.
Yeah, you would help us set up and everything, and you seemed so fed up already. Like, you were just like, okay.
Yeah, because you know what I had to deal with last year? I had to deal with these girls who were just like, oh, I know everything, and then they fucked up everything. It was like, dude, I told you how to run these wires, and you're so fucking arrogant, you can't just do what I say. Because it's like, I'm older, I must know more. No, you're a fucking moron.
Alright, in our defense, we do play that card now that we're seniors a little bit.
Yeah, but
it's
I
very
actually
true.
know more. That's
very
the thing.
true. Oh my god. I actually
Hackett, how'd you meet me and Huggins? Why don't you say that?
Oh, okay. So, first day, freshman year, walking into gym class. I'm like, God damn, I wish I know at least one person here. I saw my buddy Sal. So I went over to Sal. I was like, Sal, how you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm good. I'm just hanging out. I knew Sal since kindergarten, so I'm like, Sal, how's it going? And then Mark Huggins came in with this kid Zach, and I just knew straight. And when I first saw him, I was like, oh, this is like some type of theater musical kid, 100%. And
Wow.
I remember our first conversation. It was more like how I hate changing in the locker room, and you were like, I hate that too. And we had like lockers next to each other, and then it was like the first day, and I said, fuck this, I'm not changing. I'm just gonna stay in my school clothes. And you were just like, well, you're gonna bail me out? I was like, yeah, sorry, I'm not. I'm gonna just head up to the front where all the people are clothed.
It's actually kind of funny because not soon after the beginning of freshman year, I stopped changing because I just hated it, and Capella didn't care, so it's fine. That's actually funny though.
Yeah, that was our first conversation. I was just like, bro, I fucking hate getting changed. And then you were like, me too.
Why don't you tell us how you met Matt?
Okay, so Matt, I walked into junior year gym class, and I was looking around, and I saw John Ramos and all these guys, and I was just like, I know some people here, that's fine. And went in, and I saw this kid Matt, and I was like, oh, he seems very hyperactive.
True.
Matt is very enthusiastic, very out there. So, like, I was just playing the Switch, and he would be, like, talking and all that stuff. And then a week passes, and we go into the locker room to get changed. Though I don't change anymore. I dress prepared. And Matt Watkins comes up to me, and he goes, hey, I have a question for you. I was like, never talked to this kid ever in my life. And I was like, yeah, what's up? He goes, are you the guy that fucks dogs?
This is a true story,
I'm
people.
like,
This is a
no,
true
how
story.
did you hear that? He was like, I don't know. I thought you were that guy. I was like, no, that's not me. And Edward was dying. This kid Edward was with us, and he was just like, he lost it. He was on the floor, just like busting a gut.
He's probably the one that told me. I got to be honest with you.
He was the one who told you? Good fucking asshole.
It was one of those guys.
You meet everybody in gym class,
Yeah.
Gym class is really the class where if you're in it with somebody, you're automatically friends with them. Because, like,
Yeah.
you have one goal, and that's domination in gym class. Like, you don't understand, like, the testosterone levels that go through gym class. Like, you're there, and you're instantly down for whatever goes on.
Yeah.
I remember we played soccer, and then all I'd hear down the field, because I was goalie, I would catch the ball, and all I'd hear down the field is, Mark Hackett, throw the ball! And there is Matt screaming and jumping with his hands up, and I'm like, fuck it. So I would always throw it to him. And he would always miss the ball by a long shot. And I'm like, I should really stop passing it.
Huggins, did you explain how you met Hackett?
Yeah, well, I mean, he told it in gym class.
Do you remember that differently? Because I don't think that's exactly how I met
I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, locker room. There's also a part of it. It's just freshman. Like, everything that happened before junior year is so blurry to me. I have such a bad memory.
Let me tell you something. As much as hate freshmen get, freshman year is your best year of high school.
I don't know.
Matt.
I don't know about
Do
that.
stand up.
Let me get through this. So in my eyes, because I'm a sports guy, so this is how my sports relationship went. So we instantly go to freshman football before school starts, right? And this is where you meet your Little Falls friends, your West Patterson friends, like the two other towns for the first time, right? So obviously there's no hate, everyone's down and open to meeting everybody. The first 4 practices, we didn't know each other. like I knew a couple of my friends like Max and like Brian, and I had Alex. I had the Totowa guys, but I didn't know any of the West Patterson guys. I barely knew any of the Little Falls guys. So instantly, like after practice, we were sitting around at the picnic tables, and we're conversating, and that's when everybody was your friend. You know, you didn't have enemies yet. You didn't have like the cool kids trying to be cool. You didn't have like kids that turned weird yet. You know, you had everybody that was real genuine. And then obviously high school changes you, so
Yeah.
people took their turns. But when you were there your freshman year, everything was so new. You were open to everything and anything in life.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I had a different experience. I honestly think senior year was the best year so far. Anyway, I mean, besides the whole quarantine.
Well, so far we're done.
Yeah, I know.
We're done.
I mean, yeah, freshman year, you're very malleable as a person. We changed so much throughout the 4 years. I mean, it's just kind of crazy how much growing up happens. But, I don't know. I think senior year was my best year just because of how much I did. Like, I did so much. I was much more involved than I've ever been this year.
I like junior year, to be honest with you, because I didn't have to worry about fucking going off to college. Kind of just sat and chill. But there was a lot of shit that happened, which made it more interesting. Like, I had to deal with those girls I was talking about before, and a whole bunch of other shit. And I honestly think that was my most interesting year. A lot happened. You know, yeah. we loved, we lost. Rest in peace, Mr. R.
So, let's cut the chase here. We have someone waiting to come join us. Introducing longtime friend of mine, longtime friend of Hackett, and short-time friend, but a real great friend, Huggins.
Yes.
Zach Russo, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Not gonna lie.
Let me tell you something about Zach. Okay. Zach and I have 2 classes together this year, but we've known each other for a long time. So me and Zach go way back. Zach, I want you to explain our relationship.
Alright, so me and Matt, we met playing baseball, actually. We had a team, it was called the Tigers. But yeah, I didn't know anybody on the team because I was like the only kid from Woodland Park. And then I met Matt. When was this, 3rd grade? Right?
I don't remember what years. So one thing I remember about that team, there was 3 years that we had on it, right? The first year, it was called Little Falls Tigers. The second year, it was called Triborough Tigers.
I remember that.
And then the third year, it was just called New Jersey Tigers because like we were getting people from like Montville. Like it grew so much.
What league was this? Was this like because there was you start with T-ball obviously, and
this is a travel league. So it was like the field that 7th and 8th graders play on. Mm-hmm. But we were like in 5th, 6th. No. It was a team. It was a field. All right, so it was like a 5th and 6th grade field, but we were in 3rd. Like we played it through 3rd through 6th.
So you were top tier.
Yeah, we were top tier. We were winning. We were winning games. Yeah. We won championships.
Yeah. That was when I was actually good.
We talked about this last night. Zach was either the greatest hitter or the worst hitter. You never know what Zach you were getting that day.
I either struck out and missed everything, or I hit a bomb. There was no in between. There was no knowing what I was gonna do when I went up to bat. They just hope for the best. They're like, all right, just do your best. See what happens.
Now, Zach, how do you know me?
We've known each other since like 2nd grade. I've known Hackett the longest. First, actually, yeah. It was an English class, right?
Yeah, you and Frank Koch, and like Gloria or whatever the fuck her name was.
Oh yeah, dude. She was like one of the boys at first. When we were little girls, she used to hang out with us all the time. Anyway. Yeah, well, she looks like a man.
Oh my God, no, we can't say that. We can't say that.
But that's when me and Mark met, English, and then Mark started playing. I already started playing football. I started playing football in kindergarten, and Mark started playing in like 1st or 2nd grade, and then after Mark started playing football, we just got closer and closer and closer together. We were best friends up until what, freshman year?
Yeah, but that was a whole other thing. We'll get into
The whole big
game,
story.
But we were good friends for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of the guy who was friends with everybody. Like, there was no off limits.
Yeah, exactly. He was friends with people that I didn't like, and I was friends with people he didn't like. So it was like a whole just mosh pit of different friends that we had. Like we had a whole different friend group.
Well, it was a small town.
Zach, we met in sophomore year gym, right?
Yeah, Mazzo's class.
The legend himself, Mazzo.
Bro. Well, that year I was actually good at hockey.
What?
That year I was actually good at hockey.
That was his prime year. That was his prime.
That was my athletic prime.
This year is my prime year for hockey for sure.
No way. Zach, you were terrible.
Oh, really?
Zach, I scored 7 goals on you a game.
Oh, no, that was because my defense... I had Aunt Mally, alright? And Aunt Mally didn't try.
Mally played offense.
No,
you
he was
lose as
defense.
many brain cells as Aunt Mally. I don't think you can do anything.
Exactly.
That's definitely a cut. That's definitely a cut.
I didn't have a good defense, bro. I'm sorry. It's like Tom Brady. How good do you think Tom Brady is without a good offense?
Zach, we used to walk around the track and talk about lightsabers.
Yeah, that's how we first met. You heard me talk about Star Wars and lightsabers. He goes, lightsabers?
Yeah.
Star Wars?
Bro.
What? Somebody else?
You would tell me about your giant $200 hilts.
Oh yeah. I got it. I'll actually show you guys.
It's not like they can see it, Zach. Come back.
Oh! Really?
You spent $500 on a fucking lightsaber.
Zach, Zach, please come back to the set, Zach.
It's a graduation present, my man. Not my fault. I didn't ask for it.
So, something I really want to get into, because this is what makes Zach Russo. We talked about before, I love sports. Sports is my thing. I could sit down and watch sports 24/7. Huggins is a big theater guy, best actor I've ever seen. I've seen him make out with girls left and right in actor, and he's never caught feelings once. That is the greatest acting I've ever seen in my life. Hackett, there were times where we really needed to put up our show, and we had no idea how to put it up, and then Hackett would show up, and he'd put one cable in, and he'd say, all right, we're good now. Probably the best troubleshooter I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
As much as I hate listening to Zach talk about cars, he's probably the most knowledgeable car person I've ever met. Zach, can you please elaborate on your love for cars?
Alright, so the love for cars with me, it started when I was really little. My grandfather used to take me to car shows all the time, and ever since I was little, when he first got his car, he got a 2006 Toyota Solara convertible, and ever since he got it, I was like, that's going to be my car. Just wait, just watch. And then I turned 17, and they gave me the keys to it, and I was like the happiest kid in the fucking world, man. I was ecstatic that I was able to get this car. Unfortunately, the way I got the car was my grandfather passing away, but he's still, looking over it. So, but yeah, I've been loving cars since I was, 5. I've always liked cars my entire life. That's the only thing that calms me down, and it just eases me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your thing is theater, Huggins, and that calms you down, and music calms you down. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Same thing with cars. It's just instead of a musical note, it's an exhaust note.
So you recently got a new addition to your car, right?
Yeah.
You tinted the.
I tinted the taillights, which is illegal, but it still looks cool. And then I took the badging off the back, and I made it super loud, which gets me in trouble a lot. But honestly, I can care less. I like the sound.
Something about Zach I always admired. If you ask me about sports, I always get confused with the difficulty of coming to an agreement point. Zach doesn't care about agreement points. Zach will argue about cars forever. Now, we know you like cars, but where does your really deep knowledge? Because you like cars. There's a difference between liking cars and knowing cars. Like, you really know your cars. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Like, ever since I was little, like, I have ADHD, so I'm like all over the place, right? And my mom was like, all right, you gotta find something that actually like calms you down because you're gonna go crazy. I was like, all right. And I just saw this nice, I think it was a Corvette, and it just flew by my car. I was like, no way. And I ever since that, I was like ecstatic about it. And then my dad and my grandfather got two really cool cars when I was little. My dad has a Dodge Charger Daytona. It's like a special edition. And I like loved that car ever since I was little, so it just made me want to like learn more about cars.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an obsession. You could ask any of these guys every day. I don't know why. If I'm bored, I don't go on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. I'll go straight to Facebook Marketplace and just scroll through shit and look at cars that's up for sale. And I have like a new car that I really want. Every week, I don't know why. There's just a new car that I want every week, and I know the love of cars will never like leave me, because as you get older, more new things come out, and then a newer thing for me is motorcycles, and I was thinking about getting one this summer actually too.
Yeah,
do you ever work on cars? Like, do you have any?
Yeah, my driveway. Is known as the car shop in town for all my friends. If we ever need anything, if you ever need to jack up your car, we just drive it to my house and jack up the car. Because my grandfather was an aircraft mechanic for 43 years.
I do remember your grandfather talking about airplanes a lot.
Yeah, that was his thing. Him was airplanes and cars. It's all mechanical. That was his thing. And that's what got me into cars. It was because of him. But because he was an aircraft mechanic for so long, he collected all these tools over the years. Now that he retired, all his tools went in the garage. They fit our cars. So we used those tools.
Took advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aircraft grade tools for cars never break.
Well, I'll keep that in mind next time my car breaks down.
I know a couple people have come up to me and said, dude, my car broke down, and the first person I called was Zach Russo.
Dude, like Lexi DeLuca, she got into a car accident, and she didn't know if her car was okay or not. She was, Zach, I need your help.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, I'm like, what is it, your car? She was, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, nobody ever calls me for anything else.
You know, what else would you need my help for?
Yeah, I'm like, and you said you needed my help. I'm like, that's the only thing I'm good at. I'm like, what do you need? And then, I don't know, apparently somebody like sideswiped her in her car, and her car got all banged up on the side. It was fine, though.
Well, that's not the only thing you're good at. Something I want to get into, and this is the surprise question.
Yeah.
Where do your love for bagels start? Because if you don't know, I want you to go try and find these videos. We have videos, countless videos, probably 4 or 5 now, and through our classes, where Zach's part is just him eating a bagel. That's his thing. That's his shtick. It's become a part of Zach's life.
I don't know where it came from. I think I was just like our first intro video. It's in the morning, and there's an amazing bagel shop across the street from our high school.
10 out of 10.
You guys can attest from that.
That's because we're from Jersey, though. Like Jersey bagel shops, like they don't compete with anybody else.
Yeah, no. Not even New York, bro. Our bagel shops. It's something with the water, man. The minerals. I don't know. But
The minerals.
That's just it. Yeah.
It's the Passaic River flowing through.
Exactly. 3-headed fishes in there too.
Fucking jump in and come out with 3 eyes.
Exactly. But I don't know where it just came from. It's just like we had the morning show. I had a bagel in my hand, and Billy came up to me. He goes, "Yo, we gotta film this intro." I was like, "Fuck, I have no idea." He goes, "You want to eat a bagel? Because I see you eat bagels all the time." I was like, "Why not?" And then I ate a bagel and I ripped it off, and then I just smiled and I put my thumbs up, and everybody just knows me as the car guy that loves bagels now. Apparently throughout our school.
Something you Huggins and Hackett don't know. Me and Zach were filming this video for Roberts because she wanted one last girl show video for some reason 3 days before girl show, right? So the scene was, I want you to try and picture the scene. I'm sitting on a windowsill outside Roberts' hall. And you know how Roberts' hallway, there's a real sharp turn right there? And you know how the windowsills are right there?
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the windowsill with a bagel in my hand.
No, I had the bagel.
Oh, Zach had the bagel, sorry. And Zach turns and runs around the corner. He says, "Matt, we gotta go." So I jump off the windowsill, and now we're both standing at each other, standing in a stance like sumo wrestlers, like ready to go. He throws the bagel to me. I catch it, right? He runs, now he's running. I jump into his hands and feed him the bagel.
While I'm running.
While he's running.
Oh, God.
And then we run past this girl, Devisha, that was with, she's in PVTV with us and TV Productions. And you could just see the bagel in my mouth. And, like, him feeding me the bagel while I'm holding him in my arms, just bolting past.
And let me tell you something, that bagel was hard to come by because there was people stealing it. We're not going to mention names, but there was people stealing the bagel.
In our class, yeah, and I got really mad because I paid for it with my own money.
Zach was mad. Zach was very angry.
Well, never touch
nobody takes my
bagels.
bagels, bro. Nobody takes my bagels.
No.
That's one thing. Nobody touches my car.
Taking Zach Russo's bagels is a death wish.
Dude, I just got two things. You scratch my car, you're dead. You touch my bagels, you're also dead.
No in between.
I've never seen Zach more confused and angry because someone took something from him.
I was just dumbfounded. I'm like, really? I was looking right at you. And you just
and she consisted to lie too. She was like, "I didn't eat it," and she's chewing the bagel.
Yeah, I didn't eat it.
Wait, we're not gonna name names, but do I know this person?
Oh yeah, yes, you do.
Oh, I think.
To go through our coronavirus story right now. Who would like to start?
I will. Honestly, why not?
Tell us, Zach. You're our guest. You go first.
Yeah. So, I've been really bored. Plus, at the beginning of it, me and my girlfriend just broke up. But I got my boys in the car community. We try to hang out as much as we can. But it's kind of saddening because all the car meets are canceled because of the virus. So I'm really antsy and stuff because that's the only thing that calms me down is cars revving, doing burnouts and stuff. So that's why I actually started working on my car more. But dude, I'm just sitting at home watching car videos all the time. It's literally all I do. Honestly, I actually have a car video right up on my TV right now. But yeah. That.
Oh.
Motherfucker, you can't say this shit.
Oh.
We're posting this on the internet.
Alright, that was a good cut.
Zach goes. I'll go. What I've been doing is a whole lot of nothing. So I have family members who have contracted the virus, and I have people across the street from me. And actually, I'm looking out right now. And there's a thank you sign by the little kids. I don't know what's for us, but that's really cute. Wow. So, basically all I've been doing is I've been doing a lot of... Actually, we tried creating a song, me, Hackett, and Huggins. And then the song turned into this. So we're actually getting more production out of this than the song. I've been just relaxing, doing nothing. I was actually on an official 7-day quarantine because of the family member. I just came close to him. At the beginning of it, my grandmother died, so we had the funeral there. That was one of the last funerals because now they're like, whenever you die, they just instantly cremate you. Like, you don't have a choice anymore.
Right.
It's actually crazy.
That's actually...
Like, even if you don't die of the virus,
Mm-hmm.
like, let's just say you, like, get shot. Like, you're still getting cremated.
I didn't know that. That's actually scary.
That is
Yeah,
scary
they
stuff.
don't want it spreading. They don't want even groups of gatherings or anything like that.
Yeah.
So if someone kicks the bucket,
Okay.
Mark.
time to do it.
Jeez, man.
You guys keep talking about how bored you are. I wish I was bored. I mean, I'm taking 3 APs, which isn't really a lot, like in comparison to some of the smarter kids. But I'm working on homework from when I wake up to when I go to bed. I mean, I gotta say I am taking a bit more breaks than I do during school, obviously just because I have the freedom to. But man, I am swamped all the time. But I have been trying to play piano, write as much as I can, music, but mostly just working. I wish I could say differently.
I actually had to call out of work for a couple weeks because the work.
Well, we have to. We can't go outside. I'm sorry, guys.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
I'm out of work too.
Actually, I have to work because technically, apparently, my job's a necessity.
My
You know,
job
yeah,
is literally a supermarket. I'm essential.
I'm essential too, bro. Nobody can get their gas. Nobody's going anywhere.
Zach does have to pump
Yeah.
people's gas.
Yeah. I
Mark,
don't
you
do a
wanna
great
talk
job
about
at it, but I still do it.
What I've been doing is basically finishing school in a half an hour because that's all the work I get. Not like you, who takes it all day. I guess it's somewhat bittersweet because I get bored and there's nothing to do. So I just make songs and I edit Girl Show.
He did.
Yeah.
Speaking of girl show, that is the one thing that we have came together and produced as a unit. It was probably it is the biggest show in the community. Wrong?
Yes.
Yeah,
And Mark has been
because of
editing the
3,000
entire thing.
It took him multiple weeks to edit the entire thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was only working on it I could have finished that day one if I really wanted to. I was like,
But it
I was
decided to
there,
take him a
I
week.
said, it's not going to be that hard. But I went and I was just like, do I really want to spend weeks just doing nothing, or can I just work on this little by little? So that's what I did, and it came out awesome. And then I said to my teacher, I'm like, hey, it's done, I'm going to send it to you. She goes, okay, cool. Then she sends it back, and she's like, can you add a couple more things? I'm like, you're fucking with me right now. Weeks I spent on this, and this is the shit, the gratitude I get.
Wow.
But it's whatever. I'm gonna add it in on Monday. But oh my god, it takes hours to render that show.
So
Hours.
something about girl show I want to point out. Like I said before, it is the biggest show. It is the biggest day in the community. Girl show is the day that the girls of Passaic County, of the Tri-Borough, are really they're in the limelight. It's their day. So, Hackett, I want you to explain what was going on behind, what we were doing. We were the production cast, basically. Me and Mark Huggins hosted. Zach was one of our lead cameramans. He was actually on the scaffolding he probably had the most important backup shot.
Yeah, the bird's eye view.
He had the bird's eye view the whole night.
You know that scaffolding was actually 30 feet in the air.
Yes.
And
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm afraid of heights.
Zach is afraid of heights. That is something we can contest to.
Oh, and
Like
Can I
last
go
year,
into?
it was the beginning of this year. I went on a 3-foot scaffolding. I still got scared.
It literally was 3 steps, and I had to help him down.
yeah, this is a big step up from that.
Well, I can go into a lot. I talked about this on my other podcast, Rant Time, but our editor decided he wasn't gonna fucking give us the footage back. But I got to talk to him about that. But basically, it was a week after me and a couple of our friends were ranting because last year it was a complete disaster. So basically, those 3 girls from earlier who thought they were amazing and fantastic and wonderful fucked up a lot of shit. So
This is in terms of the production cast, not the actual show.
Yes.
So we had to run. There was like 5 cameras or some shit like that. 6? No, 5 cameras because Miss whatever took down a camera when I was like, "Why the fuck did you do that?" She's like, "We don't need it." Needed it, but whatever. Hindsight is 20/20, right? So each camera gets 2 wires, an XLR and a BNC, an audio and a video wire,
Right.
a sound and the thing you look at wire for the idiots who don't know what I'm talking about. So we needed 2 wires per camera. That's all you need. One camera, one side gets 4, the other side gets 4. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but we had 16 wires on both sides. That is 4 times the amount we needed. And
Oh, jeez.
I want to say about 12 of those wires didn't do a damn thing.
Well, we did this because last year, the year prior, I wasn't part of it, but you were, and it didn't go well. So this year they hired an actual crew to help us out.
Yeah,
Like
a
$10,000.
Yeah.
Zach probably worked with the crew the most. Zach, how was the crew?
Honestly, I loved working with them. Luke, he was funny as hell. Adam, he was a great person to talk to. Who was that? The guy, what was his name? Gio, the tall guy?
Gio, yeah.
Oh, the one that looked like
he
Pat
had a long
Mahomes.
shirt on, and me and him switched places in the photo. I'm facing when it's their back, so I couldn't tell who it was. But all of a sudden, you see his face within the students, and I thought that was hilarious. But no, yeah, dude, working with them, it was professional as hell. But like when I'm sitting on the scaffolding, I'll just feel it shake for a couple seconds, and I'll see Luke's head just like pop up, like, "Yo, you good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm alright. I just need a water or something."
Something
But,
funny about
like-
the scaffolding. They had the camera tied down.
They didn't have me tied down.
Yeah, they were perfectly fine with Zach dying, but they didn't want the camera to break.
They were like, "Oh yeah, the camera, $500, $600. Oh, that's good. Student, he should be fine."
You should be fine. Look at all that fat. No
You
bounce.
had to stay very still, right? And you were.
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing. They're supposed to put sandbags at the bottom of it. Guess what? They were supposed to. I don't know if they were supposed to get some, and they forgot to.
There were no sandbags.
When I was going through,
There were no sandbags. There were sandbags on the 5-foot one, but not the 30-foot one.
Something funny. Me and Huggins were the hosts, so we were running around the entire show. There was a point in the show where I finished all my interviews, and I was like, "Ooh, there's water underneath there." So underneath Zach's scaffolding. So I went underneath, and I hit it, and it shook a little bit, and I got so scared. And I look up, and Zach was, like, perfectly fine. So then I was like, "Oh, okay, haha, I'm alright with this."
Yeah.
Dude, there was moments when I was like, a camera 6 in editing of this show. I was like, camera 6 would look really good here. And then I would go to camera 6, and all I got is this shaky ass fucking camera.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro, dude. You know how, I stood, locked my knees, everything. I would not move. The only part of the body that moves is my hands moving the camera around.
Did you get a chair up there?
Gimbal for that one.
They built that scaffold like the day up. They were like,
Yeah, they built that morning.
They did build that.
Morning. It was for the posters. That's how they put the posters up. Like, oh yeah, let's just use this as a camera mount, because that's great.
Well, it was my idea. That's why we did it.
Yeah, I know, but still, like, they should have made it sturdy. Like,
They should have put a gimbal. We should have gotten a gimbal for that camera.
exactly.
You want to know why I know what a gimbal is? Victorious. Who broke Cat's gimbal?
I miss those Dan Schneider shows.
I've worked on Girl Show for 4 years ish. The first year it was with my sister, but because she was directing that year, and I didn't really. I helped out here and there, but there's not really much I could do. But
How was
second
it
year,
working the Girl Show on your sister?
Hmm?
How was it working with your sister on, like, Girl Show and stuff? Was it weird?
I didn't really do much. Like, I showed up and I was just like, yeah, blah blah blah. But like,
He was his sister's runner.
The year after that, when my sister graduated and we got new teacher for that whole thing, he knew what he was doing, and that made everything a lot simpler, and it was fun. It was fun to do. That was the year of Iron Man, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That was the year of Iron Man and all that, and like he was really cool. Lauren directed. She was Lauren, and she she was a good director, and I was the best cameraman that they had before Lorenzo came in.
I'm sorry, but we have a new best cameraman. Zach has the steadiest camera hands I have ever seen on a human being. I asked Zach.
You obviously haven't seen any of my work. Shit.
No, I'm sorry. All right. So I shot this video. It was a video that you have to add in now, which you should be doing. So we had girls that were laughing hysterically, and they were like, we told them to walk slow towards Zach, and Zach had the camera. He was walking backwards. There was one shot take where they came out and they were like running at Zach, and Zach was running backwards, having a steady shot, running backwards. He almost fell right on his ass.
Wow.
But I don't know how, bro. But the harder thing was I had to angle the camera down because all of those girls are like 5 foot. I'm 6'2", so I'm like crouching, like halfway crouching in like a halfway squat and running backwards, trying to keep the camera still. Hardest thing I've ever done, like doing like filming.
Huggins, why don't you tell everybody what the idea and the work behind being a host was? Because I feel like you having your background, it was really easy for you to really, because you were head.
Well, before we go on, for those of our viewers who are completely lost, maybe, a girl show is an event that happens every year where the girls perform, like cheer and dance routines. Like we said that they had the spotlight before, but
and exercise. Don't forget exercise.
They do cheer and dance and like exercise routines. That's really cool for them. It's very serious, very competitive.
You would think this is one night, but like the show is one night, but it lasts for 2 months, 3 months.
It's a whole like month thing that
production takes 3 months to do, and for the girls, it's like even longer than that.
It's very serious. Okay, so like our job as hosts, we basically there's a lot of pressure on us to not mess up at all because the moms of girl show get so angry if anything goes wrong. Actually, Facebook is like a war zone afterwards.
After girl show, Facebook is literally World War II.
You have moms calling the girls fat. You have them like it's really brutal. For no reason, but you know. So we have a lot of pressure on us to make sure our job goes right because if the production team messes up, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, we get scolded if we do.
Yeah, the town actually will yell at us, like the town.
3 towns.
But you know, as hosts, our job was we worked with a teacher named Mr. Van Ness who was absolutely amazing, and we loved working with him. So most
of the time I did.
Yeah, the hosts, me, Matt, and a couple of our friends, but we had a script that was written by Mr. Van Ness. And we basically had to memorize it and say it on live television. It doesn't sound that difficult, but it was pretty stressful.
For me, it was the first time I ever had to memorize a script, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I had some experience, obviously, doing plays of memorizing scripts, so I had a little bit of an easier time, but it was definitely rough for the people who either can't read or aren't good at memorizing. I'm not going to name any names.
Matt Watkins.
That's why I was in camera and not talent.
This is actually the first thing Zach has done not in front of the camera, but like being part of the crew, like that is actually in front of the camera. Yeah. Zach is known as the behind the camera man. You know, he won't do much.
I'd say the hardest part.
If you need a cameraman, I'm always down to do it. But like, I have never been anchored.
The hardest part of the night itself, though, I think, was how loud it was because
Yeah, you can't barely hear anything on those headsets.
We have giant speakers going around the whole gym, and so it's a very hyped night, and we have like crowds of people coming in. So they are literally blasting music throughout the entire gymnasium, like the way you'd hear it at a concert. And we're supposed to be doing this whole pre-show where we memorize our lines, and we're talking to each other, and we just have to know what everyone's line is. We have to know how long their part is, because we can't hear a word we're saying. And we're sitting right next to each other, we can't hear them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the mic up, and I was like waiting on like Matt, for example, to finish his line before I could start mine, and I just had to trust that everything went well.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't hear a word he was saying.
It was a lot of looking at you, and it was a lot of, is he done? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, like the whole thing, we were just, it was kind of nerve-wracking. And it was crazy being on live television.
The scariest part for me
broadcasted.
was the interviews, because I had to interview our, at the time, intern principal. He's actually,
Yes.
I think he's gone. I gotta be honest with you guys. I think
he's gone.
Really?
yeah, I think they
Yeah,
got
'cause
him.
we're not going back to school.
He's gone?
Yeah,
Wait, we're not going back to school at all? I thought we were.
well, it's not yet. It's not official yet, but they got rid of the intern principal. They didn't like Abate.
Oh,
Yeah, he was
worse,
fixing
dude,
a lot of
he was
shit.
mean, bro.
I heard.
It was mean.
No offense, like
well-
I had no problems with the guy, but he did spit in my face during an interview on accident, and it did not taste good. I gotta be honest with you
I think
guys.
it's mostly just because we're not going back to school, so they're not going to pay him for not doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
If
Well,
we're not
like-
going to be in for a few months, there's no point in having a principal.
Exactly.
I really
Yeah.
hope we go.
Well, the way
But,
PV
yeah,
runs,
those interviews.
the way PV runs, we don't really even need a principal if we're not in school at all, because all they do is deal with big stuff like money and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, he doesn't really do anything.
I think the most
He
he's
just-
really like contributed to the school was saying lanyard, 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 lanyard,
Yeah.
and it's called ID,
Like-
sir. It's
like-
called ID.
Yeah, like surprisingly, September contributes more to the school than Abate did, and that's saying a lot.
well,
That
well,
is it.
September, that's his job, is to contribute to the school. You know, he
Now,
handles
one
the
thing
school.
that I did love about Mr. Abate, though, was that he was super involved with,
With everything.
yeah, he was super involved with, like,
Too involved sometimes.
well,
No,
just
I wouldn't say too
attending
involved.
events.
No, you could say for like our video, the one where Matt jumped into my arms and he fed me.
Oh yeah, he
Mr.
would.
Abate,
He
was
showed
in
up.
the way the entire time.
He showed
kept
up and just
walking
stood in
our
the middle of our shots. But like that, but like there's something about him that I respected, because he was always pro school. You know, always pro. Like he's down for what we're doing. Like he's down
He
for
would come
us.
and visit, like, a lot of play practices, a lot of marching band practices, which is something I'm also a part of. Like, he was super involved with just being a part of the school, being a part of the spirit. You know, it was nice to see that.
And let me tell you something, as corny as the line is, I love and I respect when somebody says it's a great day to be a Hornet. I respect
And he
it.
says it all the time.
In my interview with him, if Mark can get a clip from it, hopefully, I don't know if he can,
I could.
but
Yeah.
we're talking, right? And he goes, excuse me, it's a great day to be a Hornet. And I didn't know what to do, except I wasn't expecting it. So if you watch my face as he says it, I have these pure holding back laughter, and I was trying to hold it back, but I couldn't.
We got to interview, like, our mayors, though, too. I interviewed Mayor Damiano from Little Falls. He's a great guy.
He's a
It was
big
funny,
guy.
though, because
He's huge.
Yeah,
He's muscular.
he's very muscular. It was funny, though, because, like, the way things were running, it was a little chaotic. As much planning goes into Girls' Show, there's always things that don't really make sense. So we ran out of time on our interview, and they just cut away. So I was, like, mid-question. It wasn't even smooth. I was
Oh my God,
mid-question
dude,
with our mayor, and it cut, and he was just like, all right, well, thanks.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I saw that, and we didn't cut away from you.
Oh, really?
Alex told you to stop, and I told Al tell him to stop. Keep
Wait,
going.
can you repeat that? Your internet went a little weird for a second.
Okay, so I was sitting there, and I'm like, oh, the interview's almost over. They're going to come out. We'll have plenty of time. A couple more questions. And then Alex just goes like, what? We don't have time. And cuts you. And I was like, what are you doing? He's still alive. And then she's like, oh, we're cutting the interview. They're coming out. And then all I got for a solid 5 seconds was you looking at the camera like, oh, we're done? We're done? And like, and I was like, oh my God, Alex, I just wanted to strangle.
Oh man, I didn't even know that happened.
You know, as crazy as that night was, she did a great job handling what was going on.
For that, yeah. I mean,
You know what? I don't know about you guys, but I know me and Mark know this. After girls' show, we went out actually to get Applebee's, and I thought that was like the best like dinner I've had in a while. Like, because I haven't hung out with we all of us like really haven't hung out outside of school other than girls' show.
I apologize.
And, yeah,
I apologize for not
just
coming to
old
that.
Memory.
I wasn't allowed to go.
I apologize for not coming to that. I was, as Mark Hackett would say, I was big simping that night.
No, you weren't.
I was very angry that night. Hackett, without saying what's going on, just on a scale of 1 to 10, how angry was I that night after a girl show? Hackett?
Okay, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how much were you angry or you were simping?
Angry.
Oh, well, I came up to you and I was like, Matt, we did it! And then all I got was, fuck this.
I was angry. I was upset.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. This killed
Why were you
five.
angry?
Because, do you want me to explain, Matt?
Well, we'll explain that one off camera. That's an off-camera topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway, something happened, and I was like, we're done, we did it, we're golden, yay. And then Matt was just like, I fucking hate everything. And I was like,
Dude, I was upset.
Oh, okay.
I was upset.
On a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to say, you were a solid 8.5.
Yeah, man, I was fuming.
You were really pissed. You were really pissed.
And that's something about me. Like, I normally don't get pissed. I'm normally this jolly mother Johnny.
I'm the person that usually pisses off Matt. That's the thing, because I annoy him too much.
Because sometimes me and him will have a great conversation, and then sometimes I just want to kick him in the face because he's just talking about cars, and oh my God.
Like he'll just tell me, he goes, yeah, exactly. He goes, shut the hell up about cars. You don't try to do my work.
I remember the day before the show, I was talking. No, 2 days before the show, I was talking to Zach, and I can't really say this, but I'm gonna like beat around the bush.
Go ahead. Okay.
No, because like I don't want people to know what we were talking about. And I said, and you were like, yeah, you got blah blah blah, and I was like, hell yeah, man, I got it all on 6 cameras. And you were dying so loud, the whole gym started looking at us. And I was like, oh my God, people are going to question what I was saying.
Yes, I remember you were like, yeah, I'm going to record for later.
I'm glad that was a really good story because no one knows.
Yeah, no, me and Huggins are literally staring at each other like, what's going on? Like, we don't know what's going on.
No, I
tell
think
you
I
what
talked
it
about, but there's no way that this story's gonna come across well.
Alright, I'll tell you.
No.
Okay, so basically, Zach was like, hell yeah, man, you get to see all...
No. Cut it.
And then I said...
And then I just start absolutely dying, bro.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, what is it? I wanted to walk away, but like, I was like, I don't know if that's
wow.
the thing to do at the moment.
Something I want to point out about Girl Show is the hard work that was put into it was amazing by everybody. And the the outcome was probably great. But one thing that goes unnoticed is the girls do a great job, and they are the prime light of the show, which is supposed to happen that night, and I couldn't be happier for them. They do great. But the crew really, and I've never been part of a crew like this, the crew really came together. We were playing games before, like we were friends before, but like we had so much time to kill that we would do everything together for a week, really.
Yeah. I remember, was it, everybody's scared to drive with me in the car.
yes.
I drive a little fast, but, I had Alex Pace, Gina Manzi and Mia Preziosi in my car. I never expected them ever to go in my car before. Ever to hang out with them outside of school. Oh yeah, and Aaliyah Staples. But
Love Aaliyah.
Like, bro, dude,
This is a sham.
Or like me and Max. Me and Max went to Chick-fil-A.
I went to Chipotle.
And then we dropped Matt off at Chipotle. We got everybody food, like they all paid for it, but like we picked up food for everybody, bro, and we were all eating at this and on the bleachers, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was pretty cool.
Was that the day I was too busy getting my scarf ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Something that again pointing out about Girl Show, and I'm going to say it because I love him. Huggins wore the ugliest scarf I've ever seen that night. So he came through that night, and he was telling us, like, I'm going to wear this scarf, and he wore it, and we were all trying to tell him not to wear it, right? And he persistently said, no, I'm going to wear it. We are 5 minutes away from time. Zach is up on his spot. Mark is behind his computer, his cameras. And we're sitting in our chairs, and we look to our right, and we see a little girl, maybe 5 years old, wearing the exact same scarf as Huggins. We look at him and we go, dude, you have 3 minutes. Please make the right decision and take it off. We took pictures, and he took it off for the pictures. Of all things, he took it off for the pictures. And he still wore the scarf. And I never told him this. So this is coming right to the air. I went to work the next day, and my boss, he's like 30 years old, so he's not really part of what's going on through school. He watched the show, and he looks at me, he goes, Matt, you did a great job hosting, but who the fuck wore the scarf? Like, just like that. I'm sorry for cursing like that, but like, that's how he said it. That's how he said it. And I had to explain the trial and error effects that me, Zach, Mark, and the rest of the crew tried to get him to take that scarf off.
Listen, groundbreaking people like me take a lot of heat, alright? So, I just gotta say.
Like, I remember for the rest of the night, like, after the show, I just kept calling him Scarf Boy.
Yeah, we did.
Scarf Boy.
Listen, alright. I'll concede it was my mom's scarf, okay? And yes, I got a lot of hate for the scarf, but you gotta be your own person. I also got a lot of love for the scarf. A lot of people.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great.
And I gotta say, I'm proud. I'm proud to say that I wore that scarf on my television. All right. Well, anyways, guys, that about wraps up our stories. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much to our guest, Zach Russo. And this concludes our first M&M&M podcast. So,
yes, sir.
Thank you all.
All right.